talk about a school for all, there are several important issues to take into account. One of them is learning. In a school for all, every child should benefit and get further towards an independent adult life with participation and self-esteem as important values, both currently and in the future. Learning is not only taking place in prepared lessons, rather in every situation where something new to the person is involved. Even before birth, learning processes are going on. The former French-Canadian philosopher of education, Jacques Maritain, stated that the art of teaching is to imitate the intellectual nature in its own operations. In his research during the 1970s and 80s, the Norwegian professor Magne Nyborg, I would say, revealed some of these nature's processes and pointed to them and to how we can prepare for them taking place. We can recognize these processes also in a natural child's language development. We can adapt for these processes when we prepare learning situations in lessons. There is one particular kind of knowledge involved in most learning situations, whether it is about skill learning, knowledge learning, or learning concerning motives and emotions. And whether we speak about a moment of learning just happening, spontaneous, or we speak about structured learning situations of different kinds, where a formal or informal teacher is in charge. I talk of knowledge required for classification and comprehension, tools for analysis and abstraction. Nyborg mentioned around 20 conceptual systems crucial for a diversity of learning situations and learning processes. He labeled these prerequisites for learning and documented how we can give children conditions to learn these prerequisites and hence facilitate the learning. His concept teaching model, developed according to his findings concerning concept learning processes, involve linguistic consciousness, as we shall see. In the following, we will first see an example of how we can facilitate children's detection of the partial similarity implicit in all categories. You will see that we talk about red color and take steps from total similarity via similarity in color to similar in having a red color. The expressions may sound unfamiliar. That could be due to a restricted English vocabulary of mine, but possibly also a kind of a linguistic philosophical approach. For example, when we say it has a red color, a thing like this, it has a red color, not this is a red color. I know that different languages deal with these things in different ways. But let me state that it is an issue that color is a property or feature we abstract from the wholeness, which is not very complicated when we talk about a sheet like this. It is a plastic chip, it has a certain shape and a certain color. Now please look at Erik, who helped us establishing a learning situation, well, in an artificial setting in the middle of summer vacation, but still a small demonstration of how we can prepare for a child's learning processes.
Selv om du
kan kjøre den bort i garasjen. Den bilen da, hva slags farge vil du se den her?
Rød og svart.
Rød og svart. Han har rød farge, kan du si det?
Og han har rød farge.
Ja, ta og kjør den bort i garasjen. Men den bilen, hva farge vil du si den?
Mørkerød.
Da kan vi se, den har rød farge også, er du med?
Den har rød farge, den har rød.
Akkurat. Kjempebra, da kan vi sette den på siden, så ikke vi har. Du, hva er dette her for noe?
Ketchup.
Ja, pass deg. Du, hva farge har ketchupflasker da?
Rød.
Rød, visst kan du si en rød farge?
Den har rød farge.
Men du, hva er dette her for noe da?
Smoothie.
Liker du smoothie?
Aldri smakt den.
Aldri smakt det. Den er ferdig, skal du få smake. Men ser du noen rød farge på den?
Ja.
Hva er den da?
Sidene.
Akkurat, hva farge er det på siden?
Rød.
Rød. Rød farge. Rød farge. Men den her da?
Nektarin.
Akkurat, hva farge er på den?
Mørkere og litt lysere.
Du kan jo alle navn på alle røde fargene. Kjempebra. Du, before the children discover the partly similarity and verbal express it, we need to make sure that a variety of red colors are included in our common concept of red colors. I mean the common concept of the adult and the children. In most situations, there will not be only one child, like you saw in the demonstration, but a group of children, maybe 10, maybe 15. Of course, then we must do things in a little different way. We talked about red colors. Though the children are usually familiar with red colors, we start with association learning, connecting the expression red color to a variety of things with a variety of red colors. Next, you saw me asking Erik to point out red among other colors and prepare tasks for that issue. Finally, we focused the partly similarity. In this sequence, I was not too clear about the importance of pronouncing the superordinate, as we could call it, the word color. Not only red, but red color. Neither did I very clearly ask Erik to express the partly similarity. They are similar in having a red color, or they are similar in color, if that was the issue. In a real learning situation, and especially when I work with children with learning problems, I should do this far more clearly and precisely. The same processes we prepare for whatever a concept we work with. It could, for example, be shape, which is an important conceptual system both for real-world classification and for learning letters and figures, as well as math in general, geometry. We recommend that children at risk of learning problems concerning reading and writing should learn concepts of line shapes before they learn to write letters, and maybe also before they learn letters to read them. In fact, most children seem to benefit from work with these conceptual systems, also those who read before they came to school. In the following, you can see a small sequence where learning the concept of curved shape is the objective. In Norwegian, like a number of other languages, the same word is used for curved and the bow, like this. In Norwegian, we would not say curved shape, but use the word bowed, a bowed shape. So there is kind of a similarity in the word used that helps the children to detect the similarities between curved shapes. In English, we should probably use other examples. For example, rug of the kind with roads for playing with cards, and try if we could find a curved road on it.
Ja, den er en bøyd spikerbueform.
Den er bueform. Jeg lurer på om du finner noen bueformer på den pleiebåsen. Akkurat. Der er en bueform. Jeg ser en bueform. Akkurat der. Again, the first step is a connection between curves and the expression curved shape this time. Next is to distinguish the curve and the curved shape from other shapes. And finally, to verbally express the partial similarity. They are similar in having a curved shape. Like you, for example, can see with the bow and this, which really is, the children loves things like this when we can use them. And look at the curved shapes, and a child would find, of course, different curved shapes on this. Here it has a curved shapes, and here, and so on. And we also can go to the kitchen and find things like this, which also has a lot of curved shapes. The handle here, and to apply things that belongs to the children's everyday life also contributes to connect their learning with their everyday life and with their experiences throughout the day. Some important concepts deal with relations, like when we talk about sizes. We talk about a large size and a small size, and we talk about a large house without directly comparing it to a smaller house. But in reality, we do such a comparison, though we don't express it. When we give the children examples and express also the relations, their comprehension will be deeper and more precisely, and they will more easily keep things apart from each other. And we can pick up the balls again. And of course, children would often have seen a larger ball than this one, like basketball, for example. But now let's use this and compare it to this. And the children will see that this ball has a larger size compared to this one, or related to. We can choose which words to use, but it's important to express the relation in some words or the other. Because when we now find another ball, like this for example, this ball is still large related to this, and this is no longer smaller as it was when we related it to this one, but larger related to this. And we could continue with another. Now this ball has a larger size compared to this one, and even this ball has a larger size compared to this one. Hva synes du om den? Er han større, eller?
Ja,
Ja, han er det. Da kan vi si at den har stor størrelse i forhold til den.
Den har størrelse til forhold til den.
Godt, da kan vi se. Men du, se på den appelsinen da.
Den er stor til forhold til den.
Akkurat, og da kan vi ta den har stor størrelse i forhold til den.
Den har stor størrelse til forhold til den. Kan jeg gå sånn?
When we imply the words related to or compared to in the expression we use, this relation is taken care of. And that will help those children, which often are children at risk, who has problems to figure out this. And maybe who will get problems when we start talking about the different letters. At least in Norwegian we talk about large letters and small letters, meaning different types of letters, not different sizes of letters. Now we have pointed out 3 different processes, learning processes, important when children learn concepts. Those processes are the same, whether the type of concepts is like colors, like sizes, like shapes, like positions, and so on, or they are everyday concepts like table, chair, tree, house, and so on. And the first step, as mentioned earlier, is to connect the verbal label, the verbal expression, like red color, like round shape or curved shape, with different things having that feature, that shape, that color, that size related to something else. We could say it is an association learning process. And that's the starting process. And the point is for the children to connect the verbal expression to different things, having the feature we focus. And they should differ in most other respects to take care of the abstraction of this single feature and connecting it to the verbal expression. The next step is for the children to distinguish between those belonging to the category of red color, or when the curved shape is the issue, to distinguish between the curved shapes and the straight line shape, the rectilinear shape, for example, or to distinguish between the curved shape and the round shape, which, for example, is an issue when we talk about the letters A or E or O, that for some children easily gets a curved shape instead of a round shape. Then we have the association process, and next the discrimination process. The third process is in fact going on throughout the 2 others. What is new in the third step, we could say, is to give it a verbal expression. And I talk about the detection of the partly similarity. Like in the plastic sheet I can show you. Similar in having a round shape. And even these define a round shape as that when you can pull your finger on and on around it without any corners. They are not similar in shape, they are similar in having a round shape. And this verbal expression of the partly similarity showed up in Nyborg's research to be crucial for the concept learning, to make the learning more valid and to make it easier for the children to remember and to recall when they need it for future learning processes. Throughout all the 3 processes, children also analyze and abstract the feature we focus, the feature we are learning a concept of. Those analyzed processes, we can also give tasks that take special care of that. It could be with plastic sheets like this, putting out, for example, these, and I could ask the children to pick up the plastic sheet with a triangular shape and a red color, which would make them pick up this. And I can ask them, why did you pick up that one? Just to let them answer and express, I picked it up because it has a triangular shape and a red color. Those questions require the children to focus one feature at a time. First the shape, then the color, or vice versa. We can also use games for giving the children a number of experiences with these processes, like this. You probably know this type of games with a sheet like this for each participant and the small sheets to ask. And I can, for example, ask, hiding this for the children, and ask who has got a triangular shape with a brown color. And the person with this sheet would say, I have got it. And before he gets his card or her card, he or she must say, I have got a triangular shape with a brown color. Okay, that's good. Then you get a sheet. And next, who has got a round shape with a red color? And the person with this figure on his sheet must tell what he or she has got and get the sheet. This game requires also 2 different features, or 2 different concepts taken into account. We could make it more complicated, also talking about the position, like this. And when I ask who has got rectilinear shapes, green color, a vertical position, and the number 3, this will not be correct because it has a horizontal position. So here there are 4 different conceptual systems to take into account, which is far more complicated, of course. But when the children has learned the concepts that are prerequisites for these operations, these processes, it's not so difficult after all. And I can tell you about a boy. He came to me 11 years old because he struggled with math. And he just fell down on his chair and said, I want to learn to read the time, to tell the time. His younger brother knew it already, and he did not like not to be as able as his brother. So we had to deal with a lot of these concepts, among them the concepts of shape, concepts of position, because the clock face has a round shape, and you need also the rectilinear shapes and the positions to tell the time. And this boy, he really struggled when we used this game for the first time. He had to concentrate a lot to focus first the shape and then the color. But after well, 4 or 5 weeks maybe, with one lesson a week, working with these concepts one at a time through different processes: association, discrimination, and verbal expression of partly similarities. He really managed this game rather easily, I would say, and I reminded him of the other game, easier, but though more difficult for him at the time we used it. And he could remember, and he was very proud, and really he agreed with me when I told him, now this game is easy for you, and the other is too easy. We can't use it anymore because it will be too easy for you. This is a very short review of the concept teaching model of Magne Nyborg. Of course, you will need more information. You will need to read more about the different concepts and the different conceptual systems to apply this with children. In the Inclu's website, you can find the links you need to get more information. I started citing Jacques Maritain about nature's own learning processes. Let me end, maybe a little bit trendier, by suggesting a shift towards reality. Well, not as a reality show on TV, but as a principle for intended, planned learning situations. Let reality be a starting point and give the children tools for abstraction. You will be surprised how they have abilities to learn. Also those who struggle or have problems with these learning processes. And maybe you'll find the same as I have found, that the children's learning abilities are more than we usually think a matter of the teacher's abilities to teach.